but you're never gonna be me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they're scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try to change, you can say no, free me. So he's been looking.
Oh yeah, everyone. Hello and welcome, one and all. Here with the Geek Gauntlet Podcast, we are back. We have a very special guest with us as well. Let me go ahead and get the crew introduced, and then we'll bring on my brother Moosin. But first, let me go ahead and get everybody introduced. My girl Kat. She is a writer for GNN. She is the cosplay and the TikTok queen. With my girl Catty and Cat. What's up?
What's up, William? How's it going?
I'm with you.
Oh, not much. Living the dream. Yeah.
There you go. All right. Next person up. She is from the Moon Kingdom. I don't know. Moon Kingdom, Pokemon World. She's kind of a hybrid there. I don't know if she's a Stellar Scout or a Pokemon. We'll figure it out. Let me bring my girl Jenae in. Jenae, what's up?
Nothing much, William. How are you guys doing?
What's going on? Next up, bring in this young lady here. She is the resident gamer. She's gonna bring her gamer news in. They're gonna get on me for being too aggressive on Pokemon today. Bring my girl Diamond in. Diamond, what's up?
Hello, everyone. How are y'all?
How you doing, Diamond? And now, last but certainly not least, from the great place of Canada, he is the killer of Moosin everywhere. Let me bring my man, Mr. Pinfall, in. What's up?
What is up? You never know when I'm about to show up. I just
Yeah,
out of nowhere.
It's good to have you back, man. How you doing?
Good. It's good to be back. Good to be here tonight. Let's just dive in. Let's just go because that's how we work around here.
Oh yeah. And in case y'all don't know, Gene started with this show. He started when we came up with the Geek Gauntlet. Gene was there. Shaw's taking the night off. He's not feeling well, so Shaw, we're with you, my brother. Hope you feel better soon. Let's go ahead and get started with the show. We're gonna get started with the rundowns. We're gonna do the news, some topics, and then we'll get on out of here for the night. So let's get this. Oh, wait. What's up, man? Mr. Ambrose.
I don't think we're hearing him.
I think he's on mute.
Are you muted?
I think he's on mute.
No?
Maybe not.
I recognize the Cleveland Indian hat though. Shout out to him.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
I can hear you now.
Yeah.
What's up, man?
Nothing much, man. Been waiting to get on here. Delivering
good to have you
pizzas doesn't allow for a Saturday night until you get bumped up to day shift. So
There you go. I feel you on that, man. This is John Ambrose, everybody. He is over with Geek News Now as well. So welcome him, everybody. Welcome him. And let's go ahead and get started. We're going to do the show rundowns. Like I said before, we got a lot to talk about. We got Titans, we got Stargirl, Rick and Morty. Got a lot to talk about. So let's go ahead and get the show on the road.
All right. So, as always, you guys know I'm going to need a little bit of help from you guys with Stargirl because, I like that show about as much as Wednesday Addams likes everybody.
to be honest, I'm with you, Kat. I've never even watched an episode. So
I refer to it as superhero Mayberry.
That's what it is.
So Jenae, William, did you guys catch it when you want to help me out with the recap of this one?
I didn't catch this week's, but I caught last week's.
Yeah, I watched it. The whole thing is just, this should have been not for Christmas time. This should have been more for like Halloween because the whole thing is freaky. Starman comes back out of the blue. We find out in this episode he's actually the Ultra Humanite. And then we find out that the Ultra Humanite is actually Cindy's dad, Dragon King.
Okay.
So
bowing out for 1 second, guys. I'll be right back.
go ahead, do your thing, man. This has been freaky. And then make it so bad, Pat gets buried alive, or so we think he gets buried alive by Ultra Humanite, who has everybody fooled. Now it's coming up amongst the JSA that he might be the Ultra Humanite, but they don't know for sure toward the end. So hopefully someone can save Rick, because he looked like he's buried alive. Hopefully somebody can save him. But yeah, this whole thing is freaky. And you know Isaac was behind it all. He ain't no good guy. Not at all. He ain't no good. He killed old girl's parents.
I mean, is this like their last ditch effort to try to not get canceled like all the other CW shows? Like, you know.
I thought it was already like plugged to be canceled.
It's already a thing. Yeah.
How is the CW still? Didn't they get sold? Like
so the CW is part of the purchase by Warner Brothers, which is part of why a lot of the shows didn't get renewed, because Warner Brothers is trying to aim a little bit more towards the I stay at home and drink wine all day community.
Okay, so yeah.
So they're leaning more towards the Discovery Channel side of things,
community?
with, you know, white people flipping houses and moms day drinking.
There you
But
go.
didn't if I recall reading a couple months ago, didn't Zaslav sell the CW off? Didn't he? Actually, he didn't even sell it. He just gave it away.
Well, but CW was part of the Warner Brothers. Like I said, yeah, Warner Brothers bought it because basically they were so far in the hole.
But he gave it away though to another outlet. Like I forgot what the outlet's called. It's like Star something or but they bought it. Or
no, they're still part of Warner Brothers.
Oh, are they? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood them.
Yeah. So yeah, that's hey Endo, good to see you. Glad you could join us tonight.
What's up, man? Good to have you.
So yeah, that's part of why a lot of these shows were getting axed, is because, you know, they didn't have the audiences. Well, I don't want to say they didn't have the audiences. I want to say that they're trying to save money, and the effects that you get in superhero shows is obviously more expensive than something like Sleepwalker Texas Ranger. I mean Walker Texas Ranger.
Oh my!
Well, it's
a reboot that nobody wanted.
Right.
It's also a bad sign for the CW when a bad show comes out on another network and one of the reviewers says it looked like a CW show. Like the CW shows have a distinctive look and feel to them.
Well, and they've had that same feeling ever since. So let's see, they were the CW. Before that, they were, what were they when the Gilmore Girls were on there?
It was the WB.
WB.
And then in New York it was the WB and UPN.
Yes.
And they merged.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I mean, all those shows are it's teenage angst. That's what they're cashing in on. Their cash crop is 13 to 19-year-olds with lots of angst.
Riverdale, everybody. Riverdale.
Oh, yeah, here, let's make Archie goth with vampires and werewolves. Sure, why not?
It's okay, because Riverdale has different multiverses, so.
Yes. Yes.
So, I found that out. I haven't watched it, but my mother-in-law told me about it.
Riverdale has their multiverse better assembled than DC.
Sure about dude. Sure about dude. Boy, go back. Sonic, Archie Sonic. And that's all I got to say. Archie Sonic. Oh my goodness. Boy.
So I mean, pretty much after this, I mean, I think
like
once we get through the final season of The Flash, we can pretty much consider all of these shows that we've been enjoying null and void at that point, because they're not coming back unless another network picks them up, and we'll deal with that when it happens, right? I mean, hey, new content, reboots, whatever, we'll be there.
But what What was weird about the CW? I'm sorry to interrupt. Who did I interrupt? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
There was the thing that bothers me about the CW is though it's not like they didn't have successful shows.
Right.
I mean, you had Buffy, you had Dawson's Creek, you had Supernatural, you had a roster of shows that people really liked. How are you not profitable?
It's all the shows that people didn't like. It was the Riverdales, the Legacies. Which other pick a vampire show on the CW?
The second, the reboot of Charmed.
Yeah,
the reboot of Charmed.
Or what was the other one they did? My sister watched it when I was a kid. 90210. Didn't they do that too? Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
and they rebooted, but didn't reboot Saved by the Bell.
Oh yeah. We got a new follower. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Awesome.
So much. Thank you.
And so with that, I mean, it is what it is. What are you going to, if you're looking to save your budget, you're going to look at what shows cost you the most money to produce.
Right.
And are you making that back in your ad revenues? Hey, we'll see how it pans out for them. Either they're going to be successful or they're not.
I still say Arrow went way too long. You could have killed Arrow at season 3. You really could have.
Yeah.
There's that, and they did that also too with Smallville.
Yep.
Smallville was a moneymaker. Then they just kept dragging it on. When
I mean,
like season 5 could have been
done.
And to go outside of the Arrowverse, I mean, Supernatural. I loved that show, but it went on probably 7 or 8 more seasons than it should have.
And they're already talking about this new Winchester universe.
Oh my gosh!
It goes back and rewrites the lore of Supernatural. Yeah, because Supernatural fans love when you do that.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
So all right, so Titans. All right, who wants to help me out with Titans? Because that's another one I can't get into it. All right, Amber, take it away. What was this week's episode about?
This was the finale. So Sebastian turned, and it's all. Are we allowed to do spoilers here?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, so it appears that Jinx died. Sebastian turned.
Cool.
Yeah, but no one ever really stays dead if they're good characters.
This is comics.
Yeah.
So I mean, she was a fan favorite. I'm sure they'll find a way to bring her back. Sebastian turned, and they got pretty much. It ended up being typical DC going into the halftime of the season. The bad guys are on top. So they sent what was it? Connor turned into Lex Luthor. The Lex Luthor half of him took over, which was pretty interesting. That kid's a good actor because he has the virtues of Superman and Lex Luthor, and he projects them perfectly. So I was really
both sides.
Yeah, it was really interesting to watch that flip. Beast Boy was having premonitions, and he disappeared into the red when he saw things starting to go south. Powers were gotten back. Starfire is almost back to normal form. So Titans, when it comes back, is it's going to be interesting. When's it coming back? March?
Got White Raven.
She's White Raven, yeah.
Yeah. She's White Raven now. Yeah, and that's
so
cool.
When it comes back in March, it's gonna be interesting. And I kind of like how it's like we're getting a break from it now. Doom Patrol's coming in, we can all laugh, and then Titans will come back after that half wraps up, and it's a really nice 1-2 punch they have going there. Because Doom Patrol picks up, I think, on Thursday
or Friday.
Thursday, I think. I think they're taking Titans slot because this half of the season is done.
I'm waiting on Young Justice next year. That's what I'm waiting on.
Is one of these, because I wanted Titans to have Kid Flash. Is Young Justice at least going to have Kid Flash?
Well, when Wally died,
Marvel.
When Wally died, Impulse took that role over.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, did Wally die in Titans?
He died in Young Justice.
Okay, I haven't watched Young Justice, so
he died in Young Justice, and when he died in Young Justice, Impulse took his role over. They tried to tease it that he was going to come back, but I don't know, man. I don't think he's coming back.
And I'd like to see them leave an opening for Red Hood to sneak back in there for an episode or two, because that character was getting good in season 3.
That'd be cool to see him.
I'd like to see them sneak him in somewhere.
That'd be cool seeing him back.
Anybody else catch the episode? Thoughts? Hopes?
Anybody else? Jenae, did you watch it? Anybody else watch it?
I watched part of it, and like the only thing that like I was like, "Oh, that's awesome," was when he thought that he had melted her face off.
Oh yeah,
Great scene.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, those are really good graphics. It looks believable." And I was like, "Oh man, she's still alive."
She okey doked the hell out of him. It's
Yes,
like,
she did.
yes, oh.
Yes, she did.
Dang it! And I was like, I knew it. It was way too easy.
But overall, I think the season has been pretty good so far.
I think it's been good. I think they're trying to fill a void with they lost some characters like Hawk and Dove and Wonder Girl made up a lot of the core cast, and I think without them they're kind of trying to find their way.
Yeah.
And but I think they're doing a good job with it.
It's good that we got Robin.
Yep.
So
All three, both of them, and then Red Hood is the other one.
Yep. And we get Red Hood back.
That's the one I'm kind of wishy-washy on the character treatment, because Tim Drake in the comics is kind of a badass. Like he's not a sideline sitter. He goes in and he helps and contributes, and he knows his stuff. And they're kind of holding him on a leash in the show, and I don't know why. So it's because Tim Drake was one of my favorite. Red Robin was a great comic, and I don't know why they're treating his character differently than they're treating the other ones.
I think it's just the way they're writing from a fan perspective. It's just like, everybody likes their Tim Drake, or they like, the Nightwing over everybody else's Robin. So
yeah, I mean, I get, but they had Jason Todd act like Jason Todd, and they had Dick Grayson act like Dick Grayson. I don't know why they didn't have Tim Drake act like Tim Drake. It was kind of confusing. I mean, I like it, don't get me wrong, but it was just kind of confusing that they kind of 180'd his character out of everyone else.
Yeah.
All right, so on to the new series on Netflix, Wednesday.
Now, I know you've been watching that.
I ended up actually binging the whole thing today, between last night and today. So, little background on Wednesday before we start getting too in depth about the show. Essentially, you have where the Addams family that we all know and love, and everybody loves Wednesday. I love Wednesday. I can relate to Wednesday. So, and you're now seeing her and Pugsley as more like teenagers. So the TV shows, you always saw them as like elementary age. Same thing with the movies. Now they have kind of graduated them up to like more of a high school level. And Wednesday, believe it or not, has found herself in a little bit of trouble at school because she's standing up for Pugsley. And I think most people with siblings out there can relate to this. Nobody's going to pick on or beat up my little brother but me.
Right.
And so as a result of Pugsley getting picked on in this regular school, Wednesday does Wednesday things. And gets
Wednesday does Wednesday things. If we all remember the trailer, that's pretty much a piranha full of nice yum yum. So
yeah.
I want to know where she managed to get piranhas on the fly.
It's Wednesday.
This one's still the guy.
I mean, So now it's taking her into this boarding school where her parents had gone, and it's all kids that have either abilities or are monster races, things of that nature. So who wants to go ahead and start off with your thoughts on the first half of the season?
I thought it was pretty good. I kind of didn't know that Wednesday had like a future sight, or to where like she can see who was bullying Pugsley. I was like, that's kind of cool. I never knew that she had like supernatural abilities.
That's kind of cool.
That was something that I actually, and I was not old enough to have read the Addams Family comics.
Yeah, I had to read the
comics. And I haven't gone back and rewatched the show in years, and I don't ever think it touched on in the movies.
No.
I think they may have taken some creative liberty
Yeah.
with the superpower monster-ness. Because my understanding of the Addams family was always basically they were just this really super weird family.
That's what I
Well,
thought too.
Oh yeah.
And I think we got to also realize this is Tim Burton.
Burton.
When hasn't Tim Burton took the license of something and said, okay, and Addams family 100% is in his realm of things that he would like anyways.
Yeah.
So for him to give Wednesday some supernatural, it doesn't come out of any realm of like, oh my god, like we didn't expect this.
Right.
Plus, you got to, take the tone at the time. Addams Family, when they came out, they were in that early 50s, 60s genre show. So they're like weird, and everybody was like, oh, this is a weird family. But they were the weirder than the weird. They had a special hand, and they had like an undead, butler. And like, there was already enough hints there to go, maybe there's something a little bit more off than the normal. Yeah.
They're kind of creepy and ooky.
Yeah. I did love how they brought the snap into it.
Yes.
Because the snap all of a sudden made sense with the way that Wednesday ended up going through the secret society and unlocked the puzzle. And then it was
to get in.
Yeah.
To the Edgar Allan Poe
so and that's the thing, like there are probably people that are going to be Addams Family loyalists that are going to be like, well, they never had superpowers. They weren't monsters. But I look at it and honestly, it's entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, and that's really the important thing to me is like, hey, it's good entertainment. Even if they took some liberties, it's good writing.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I'll say is the Addams Family, much like the Joker, has been led up to different interpretations from Charles Addams' vision throughout its incarnation. So you had, for example, Thing was originally an actual whole creature. And if you watch the original TV show or read the original comics, he's kind of like a creature in the shadows, and the only thing distinguishable is his hand.
Yeah.
And that's why the film decided it was too hard to incorporate that, cut the creature off, and made the hand, which became iconic.
Yeah.
So you're going to have people interpret this iconic family different ways, and each way somehow is going to be acceptable, much like a lot of iconic villains like the Joker, the Riddler, or Doctor Doom are going to be interpreted by whoever has taken on the duty of writing them.
That's right.
So Wednesday, I have to say, Tim Burton has disappointed me for the last 20 years. I have not been happy with anything he's done, probably since Big Fish. So he kind of fell off. And, he made these weird movies where, like, a lady was dancing in bubbles slowly for some reason, and someone was pushing the bubbles out of the way, walking towards her to try to fall in love. I don't know. That's just the typical Tim Burton movie. And he kind of came back to form with the Tim Burton we knew and loved with this series. And I was pleasantly surprised. I did not go into this series expecting to like it. And I not only liked it, I want season 2. I want it to come up now.
Yeah.
People
are already saying they're going to riot if there is no season 2. So
it's Netflix. It's a 50-50 shot.
Yeah. But Netflix, I think, was also willing to take enough hands off with Tim Burton and say, Tim, do your thing.
Yeah.
But I also think, I'm sorry to interrupt again. If it broke Stranger Things' record, you can't really deny it a season 2.
And also, too, you've got, as well as Tim Burton, you also have Nicole Richie, who worked on the Addams Family, and she was there as executive producer. So, again, you've got both stylizations. You're going to get something that's based in that kooky realm of Tim Burton, but also you got Nicole Richie, who knows the character Wednesday, allowed Ortega to do what she wanted to do with Wednesday, and there was never really them, like, they had never really sat down and said, okay, this is what I did with my Wednesday, each
I'm sorry, I'm getting confused. I don't mean to call you out. Are you talking about Christina Ricci?
Yes.
I'm sorry. don't want to be that
No.
guy, but I was just getting confused by what you were saying.
That's okay.
Yeah.
But no, like you've got all these moving parts of all people who've been part of past, present, and now future of the Addams Family, and I think it's the right way of going. So, you know, the show's got so much acclaim. It's really good. People want to go watch it. You go watch it. It's enjoyable. There's something for everybody.
I mean, I think they kind of took a page out of the playbook, because one of my favorite shows of the last couple of years has been Chucky. And I think they kind of took a page out of Chucky, the playbook of the people that have been doing that have been like, you know what, we're getting new fans in because it's actually a decent show.
Mm-hmm.
We're grabbing the old fans in because we're getting the old cast members, and we're getting a healthy dose of the nostalgia from the Child's Play movies.
Right.
And I think the Addams Family's not Addams, but Wednesday is balancing that out as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
And I also love Louis Guzman.
Yeah, I had my concerns with him playing.
Me too.
Playing Gomez, not from the standpoint of like, oh, he doesn't look like the Gomez from the TV show or the movie. Just he's known to me as more of a comedic actor and like in your face comedy, not like that subtle comedy. So I was a little worried he was gonna like overplay it.
And
I mean he fits it well.
But what people don't realize about Louis Guzman, though, is he's a really well-trained actor. Like, he's been in a lot of serious films, and he's done a really good job in them. He was in Traffic.
Oh, yeah.
He was in Oz.
Yeah.
So he's been in a lot. He has range.
Yeah.
And his shtick is the, you know, fatty fall down. I'm the fat comedian, but he has range when he wants it, you know?
Yeah. But he's not normally known as a subtle background character or enough that you would go, oh, like, you know, he'd be my first thought for a Gomez character, but he's definitely proved that he fits that role.
Look, I'm a huge fan of the show Community, and he's got a statue outside of Greendale Community College, and he owned that statue.
Yeah.
All right?
Oh my goodness.
All right.
Before you continue on, Kat, I want to do two things real quick, and then we'll get back to the list. Jenae, you have some anime stuff you want to talk about, and then we'll move to our video game news.
Yeah. I was gonna do just a review. I binge watched the new anime shoujo that was a romantic killer. It was hilarious.
You actually did it.
I did. I watched it all. But I have a guilty pleasure with dating sims, and so it's like making fun of all the different dating sims. This girl basically her stuff gets taken away. Her main loves is gaming, chocolate, and her cat. And this wizard takes it all away, and so she's basically stuck in a real life dating sim. And so she needs to find love to get all of her actual 3 loves back. And it has the main crazy random spastic anime stuff, but then there are some serious stuff which I liked too. But it just when I was watching it at work, I had to control my laughter because it was nap time. So it's like I don't want to wake anybody up.
Nap time.
But like for anybody else that has a guilty pleasure of dating sims, that would be a good anime to start with, and it's on Netflix. So
Isn't that the one you sent me?
Yes. If you want a good laugh, William.
Oh my goodness.
I know it's shoujo and says shonen, but
oh
but
man,
it's pretty funny.
I gotta get in. I'm gonna jump in and watch that. All right, real quick, let me go over to Diamond real quick. Diamond, you got some video game news for us?
So Cyberpunk 2077 sequel won't begin pre-production until 2023.
And a sequel for it.
Well, that way we'll get it by 2077.
Also, CD Projekt Red reveals that the remake of the Witcher game promises open world, which is like
nice. Nice.
That's kind of cool.
And
I'm not a Witcher fan, but my wife will love that.
They stole it from Pokemon. They stole it from Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Me and Legend Arceus.
And then Beyond Good and Evil 2 is still coming, as it's reportedly been play tested 14 years after the first teaser. So it's still coming. I'm waiting on it.
We want anything forever.
You're waiting on bated breath. It'll be like Cyberpunk 2027. Probably not until 2027.
Yep.
I know Pikmin 4 is supposed to come in the new year, but it's Nintendo, so I don't know which new year.
New Year
But it's coming.
I don't know which one, but it's coming.
The most depressing game I've ever played in my life. I never thought like little creatures, you hear them squeal when they die and they float up to the heavens and you're like, what have I done?
Hold up, what's this game
It
again?
reminds me of like calamari.
Pikmin 4. I've never known a fan of that game. Never known a fan of that game.
I mean, I love the games, but they're depressing because you have like these little creatures and they're helping you like defeat all these foes. But some of them die, and when they die, they turn into ghosts and float up into the sky, and they make like a noise.
Oh no!
So you're sitting there, you're like,
"Hey man,
what did I just do?
Why do I think I would love this?"
I have like
That's outside of Cat's Alley.
y'all have to understand.
You're like,
Go,
Cat.
little minions, go and die for me.
Y'all
Go.
have to understand. Y'all have to understand, Cat. She's like the Red Lantern of the group. She's the Red Lantern of the group. Die!
I'm like, I'm
It's
doing one for the
once, and if
team.
you die-
Oh man.
What else you got, Diamond?
So Todd Howard went on Lex Freeman podcast interview to talk about all their projects from Starfield to the Elder Scrolls 6. He spoke on how his biggest regret was how long Elder Scrolls 6 is taking, considering that Elder Scrolls 5 came out like 11 years ago. So it was like,
well, but honestly, I mean, other than those of us that still play Bethesda games, I think most of us would rather have them take more time and get the game done right.
Oh yeah.
Than launch it and have it be trash and then have to be like a patch every day for the next 35 days.
Fallout 76.
Yeah, Fallout 76. Yeah. I got through the
real...
opening tutorial on that game. I haven't gone back since.
I also think that if you're measuring your kid on like your wall, like my parents used to do with me, you should have a slot for Elder Scrolls and a slot for the next Kingdom Hearts game and see how much your kid has grown since those games were announced.
True.
Same with BioShock, because for a while they were doing the same thing. And like, I think the new BioShock is coming out sometime in 2023, allegedly. So we're still looking like 9 years between games.
Yeah. Can I say something real quick?
Like next year or so?
Yeah.
Can I say something real quick? I love Pokemon. I really, really do. But Scarlet and Violet, y'all got a ton of bugs in those games. I mean, oh my gosh. You got the dude sitting at the desk. He's like 5 frames a second, just sitting at the desk. 5 frames a second. People acting like zombies at the Pokemon Center when they're waiting on you to move. The game is just terrible. In the terms, the storyline is fine.
That's Nintendo. That's always how they've been, even with a lot of the Pokemon games. It's just been like you're always going to find a glitch or a weird thing, but that's their thing.
Nintendo,
it gets them tuned.
I'm saying this as a lifelong Nintendo fan. Like I'm almost like in like that company has some sort of hold on me and my family.
You drank the Kool-Aid.
You drink the Kool-Aid. Like I've been playing the NES since I was 5. I have one set up, and you're sitting there like, Nintendo, this game is wrong. Shut up and play it. Oh, okay. Like
that's because they talk about CPR.
Don't worry about the bugs. Don't worry about the bugs. Shut up and play.
Just it's CPR. What we're gonna need to do, we're gonna need to do some mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. It's the same with our cartridges. Just
no. Nintendo,
the game has been so bad.
Nintendo is seriously like, do you want the new Zelda? Do you really want the new Zelda? Play the game. Play the game. Play the game.
But this,
I don't know. Why are you doing this to me?
But this game has been so bad. Refunds have been given by Nintendo.
That's very uncharacteristic.
That's uncharacteristic of Nintendo, and they'll even erase they will even erase the game off your system for you once you get that refund. So again, graphics wise, and I know you can. The 1.1 patch just came out. It ain't fixed nothing, but hopefully the next patches will make the game look better, perform a little bit better. the cities are choppy. It's just
It's a race. It was a race for the Christmas season.
I
Yet
think
again.
that's good. That's a good point. And I think another thing too that messed them up when you came up with 3 Pokemon games back to back to back. I think that really hurt you. You should have just left it with Arceus and then came out with these 2 next year.
Well, I have a feeling some of these games, and this is one thing people are like, why are they launching things or why are they releasing things so quickly? Not just video games, but a lot of products in general were in production pre-COVID.
Yeah.
Now they can finally ship them. Or they finally got them off the shipping container, off the boat that's literally been sitting in a harbor for 2.5 years waiting to unload.
Next to a pile of Virtual Boys.
Yeah.
Here we go.
You know, and it's also on the same boat with all of our
$15. There you
Xbox
go.
Series X's and the PlayStation 5s. You know, they were shipped, shipping delays, COVID, all of that messed it all up. So it's like, okay, we're going to just push the launch back until we know it's able to be deliverable. But then all of a sudden it's release, 2 months later, release, 2 months later, release, because they have to try and move some of this merchandise because they couldn't risk launching it all at Christmas.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a really bad business move. You don't launch like 3 brand new games right at Christmas and say, here, compete with one another. You know.
I mean, I think behind the scenes, Nintendo is kind of scrambling because Sony and Microsoft have kind of formed an alliance. You have them working together, and Nintendo has burned so many bridges over the last 40 years, and they have found themselves to be the outlier, and their console technology is still, and I love my Switch, and I love my Nintendo games, but the console technology is still behind. They're kind of like the old man with the square TV that is sitting in his house, you know, and they're kind of like, my TV's fine, damn it. And it's like, no, but we have plenty of new TVs. I'll give one to you. No,
even a new
I don't want that
I
TV.
like my old TV on top
I
of
like
my broken TV.
I like my broken TV. That crack is just fine. You could barely see it.
Now, as someone who's Xbox and PC Master Race gamer, I was never a huge Nintendo fan. Like, I've played Nintendo games, but Nintendo always struck me as a gamer as more of a younger crowd. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm sure there are plenty of things that, like, especially if you've grown up with it, that you enjoy, like Pokemon, or if you're really into the Mario
Smash
series,
Bros.
you're going to follow that through.
Zelda.
Super Smash Bros.
Yeah. But I really think it was because they were relying more on your animated style. Because even now, Mario in 8-bit is still pretty cool.
Yeah.
Or 32-bit, 64-bit, whatever. That type of digitization is still cool for that age bracket. And for people that are like, hey, I know this is Nintendo.
But I still think the kids game thing, it's kind of a fallacy because the other companies advanced technologically so far from them, and the graphics, it kind of evolved into this thing where the graphics were behind, so Nintendo got this reputation of being for juvenile players. But you got to realize this is the company that gave us Zelda, they gave us Mega Man, Metroid. Some of the hardest games I've ever played have been on a Nintendo or a Super Nintendo. But I think though with them being behind and them being, you know, not up to speed with the technology that Sony and even Sega, before Sega went down in flames, and Microsoft, they were always focusing on the future. And Nintendo is still thinking that my buddy's going to walk in the door right now. We're going to sit next to each other on the couch and play some video games.
Shout out to
and I think
they're still not marketing though to a crowd like me.
No, they're not at all. And I agree with that.
You want Cyberpunk 2077 so I can have custom genitalia.
Yeah.
You know,
but that's the truth. Nintendo,
I mean,
you know,
they're behind. They've been like, they're kind of like they're tired. You've got an elephant trudging after tigers and cheetahs, and these guys are just pumping it out. You got your Cyberpunk, you got your technology, and Nintendo's just kind of like an elephant. It's like, hey man, why don't you just get into the next generation? It'll be fine. Womp, 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 womp,
I mean, that console is 60 frames. That console, the Switch, has been 60 frames a second forever. Even the OLED 60 frames per second.
I mean, as much as I love my Nintendo 64, they really put themselves back immediately when they didn't go to CD technology.
Yeah.
When they stayed with cartridges with the 64,
Yeah.
that is when the tide started to turn against them.
Yep.
And then it really became the inferior brand.
I don't know though,
And it,
because some of those games were awesome. The
They were.
NWO, that WCW NWO game.
Oh,
Yeah, boy.
GoldenEye.
GoldenEye. Yeah.
GoldenEye is one of the greatest shooters ever, but
Yep.
but they lost a step when the next
did.
consoles
They
came
did.
out, and they
They
should have,
did.
and they lost a step with the Wii because the Wii wasn't HD.
Yep.
And they
that was
lost,
also because they wanted to remain like Sony is pretty proprietary, but Nintendo wanted to remain even more proprietary. They wanted to make sure if something broke on your Nintendo, you couldn't order that part off Amazon and replace it yourself.
You actually have to go send it
they're
back.
like
You
a
actually have to go send it back to Nintendo.
they're like a custom car company. They're like Lamborghini. It's like you can't get a part for this. You got to go through us.
Or it's like Tesla.
Like, same thing. Yeah,
I mean,
Tesla.
if you know the right
Yep.
people, you can get Tesla aftermarket parts. Trust me.
You know the right folks. You know the
Can't know
right
some
people.
You know
They'll-
that. Yeah.
They'll actually come from Elon Musk. I have
Yeah.
to save Twitter.
Well,
Anything else you got, Diamond?
yeah.
That's all I got right now.
Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, let's go ahead and get into Rick and Morty.
Yeah, Rick and Morty. Oh,
Yes.
did anybody else watch Rick and Morty, or was it just me?
This is where I shut up.
I'll tell you, it was just you.
Oh, okay, all right, I got this then. This episode of Rick and Morty, I mean, Rick and Morty is not always known for sunshine and rainbows. It's known for dark humor. But even this episode, this was actually the parental warning episode. When the episode started, it advised that there may be scenes that may be disturbing to some viewers. Yeah, which surprised me because it's Rick and Morty, and I've never seen that on a Rick and Morty episode anywhere. I was like, oh, snap. What did they do? So the premise of this episode, the basic synopsis of it is Rick, we all know, is the quintessential, bully bad guy of the universe.
Mhm.
And so it starts with every bad guy is just kind of like coming for him. So think about high school. You've got this guy who's like big and bad, and maybe he was like, it's the Karate Kid syndrome. Like he won a trophy at a karate tournament. Now every, Tom, Dick, and Harry wants to come and have beef with this guy. And Rick has just decided, like, dude, I'm just done with it.
Mm.
I'm tired of it. I'm just not going to engage with this activity anymore. I'm done. Like, the more I fight these guys, the more they keep coming. I'm done. And so he goes to the family therapist, the same therapist that he was Pickle Rick for. And she basically is like, well, if you are tired of this life, like, why do you keep engaging with them? Like, literally, just walk away. Who cares what they say? Like, you
Just
don't need
say
to torture
no.
them. You don't need to do. Just walk away and see what
Just say
happens.
no.
So Rick's doing this, and all these bad guys are going away, and everything's fine, and sitting down at dinner with the family, and Pissmaster shows up.
Oh.
And he's peeing all over the lawn and all over the house, and
Dang.
Rick's just ignoring it. He's like, don't care. And Pissmaster says, hey, who's that redhead in there? I'd love to give her a golden shower.
No.
Talking about the daughter.
That's like some R. Kelly type shit right there.
Yeah. He wanted to pull an R. Kelly with
The Kardashian special.
with Summer. So, so at that point, Jerry, who is not notoriously known as the father who stands up for anything, is like, what did he say about my daughter? And Rick's like, dude, just let it go. Like, don't engage it. Don't do it.
Let it go.
And he's like, how tough can a guy named Pissmaster be? And take into consideration today's world and that this Pissmaster guy's kind of like Rick. So, I mean, like, lots of gadgets, lots of, like, bravado. A typical Rick and Morty villain. And Jerry goes out there and beats the tar out of him with a pink yard flamingo.
Jesus.
And this becomes, of course, viral. And viral in the Rick and Morty world doesn't just mean viral in your country.
No, it's viral in the
Universe-wide.
entire universe.
Yeah.
And so, like all of a sudden, like you've got all these groups coming to Jerry is like, hey, Jerry, we want you to be our emissary because we saw how you dealt with the Piss Master on YouTube. And, and Rick is just like, hey, this some shit. Like, and he kind of
One
tries to
time
tell
he
Jerry,
decides
like,
to stand up. Now everybody's like, stand up for me.
Stand up for me
Right.
too.
And Rick's kind of trying to tell Jerry, like, Jerry, I don't think you know what you're getting into here, bro. Like, he tries to have that talk with him, but Jerry has such a need for acceptance that it just straight up goes to Jerry's head.
It's going to consume him to the most. Yeah.
And so Rick is like, hey, seeing what's going on with Jerry and all of this, like, this can't, like, the good that's going towards Jerry, just the opposite's got to be going towards this other guy. And Rick's been in that spot. And so he's like, you know what? I think I need to go check on this guy, even though, like, he's not really my friend, but I think I need to go check on him.
See how much.
That's such a Dan Harmon trope.
Yeah,
Well, he gets there and
Yeah, it
finds
is.
that Master has committed suicide.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Mm.
And, like, Rick tries to save him. Like, Rick's like, maybe I got here in time. Like, he tries. And there's a letter there that specifically says, like, after being humiliated by Jerry, and
He could
Rick's
no
like, well, I
longer
can't
be
let
the
Jerry
Pissman.
find out about this.
Yeah.
And as Rick's getting ready to leave, Pissmeister's daughter shows up. And it's like, Dad, Dad, let me in. Like, Mom can't get into touch with you. So that's where that warning came from. And it was very, like, for Rick and Morty, this was really kind of serious and really real. Because it was like, hey, like, the daughter's like, Dad, like, whatever it is, it's not that bad. Like, let us help you. Like, it was dark.
Yeah, and just coming up on that week. Yeah, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
And Rick puts on the suit and talks to the daughter because the daughter thinks it's her fault. And he's like, well, I don't want her to think it's her fault because he knows it's not.
Yeah.
So then Rick's like, hey, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go out and I'm going to do like all this like good guy crap as Pissmaster
Oh, jeez.
to like build his reputation back up.
To change reputation. Oh my.
And then he comes up with his like, all right, after I build up the
Lord, that's
reputation,
crazy.
I've never watched this show. It's hilarious.
oh, you need to watch
This
it.
is
It's
yours.
great.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I love
It's
Dan
yours.
Harmon, but I tried with Rick and
Just
Morty, and I just
yours.
couldn't get into it.
Well, you have to get past like the first season or first half a season to really kind of understand the development.
Just yours.
And so Rick, because of the guilt of what he turned, because he feels responsible because his inaction led to Jerry's action, not being able to stop Jerry. So he's like, all right, I'm going to build this guy's reputation up as a good guy. Then I'm going to create a bomb. I'm going to put it on a planet. I'm going to call in this big threat. Then I'm going to make it so that Pissmaster comes down and gets it. I'm going to be able to get out of the suit, and the suit is going to autopilot into space, but they're going to think he died saving the planet. In the middle of all this, he's like, middle of the plan. Bomb is on an orphanage planet.
Oh,
Let
jeez.
that sink in. Orphanage planet.
My God. Why?
And Jerry has been tasked by
Why,
this
man?
organization
Why?
of do-gooders to
Why?
bring Pissmaster into their fold as their next recruit.
Oh, jeez.
And Jerry shows up to try and stop Rick in the middle of all this. And so this giant fight ensues again between Jerry and Pissmaster. And then Jerry realizes, oh my God, it's Rick. Has it been Rick this entire time? And Rick's like, no, I can't explain to you why I'm doing this, but Jerry, you need to just let it go.
Yeah.
So finally Rick gets Jerry, like he gets him far enough away to get the suit far enough up to where he can get out of the suit, let it autopilot out, save the planet, and now everyone's like, oh, Pissmaster died saving this planet of orphans.
Mm-hmm.
But now Rick has spent all this time kind of like carrying that guilt, and he can't hold it in any longer. And he tells Morty.
Oh, Lord.
Oh,
and Morty's like, why would you put that on me? And Morty's already kind of in an iffy place in this season. And Rick's got the letter in his hand because Morty didn't believe him that it was actually like he really blamed my dad. And then Morty's like, why are you carrying this letter? Like, what's wrong with you? And he takes the letter and is like, and then like the whole family kind of freaks out because like, why didn't you tell us this? And he's like, you know, I didn't want you guys to have to carry that.
Mm-hmm.
The weight of that, the way that Rick has carried the weight of all of the things that Rick has done. So yeah, I mean, it was a little dark for Rick and Morty, even though obviously it had its funny moments with, you know, the fights and everything else. But yeah, that and especially with the events of the prior week, which we'll get into here in the news here in just a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I think the way they went about it though was good. They didn't dance around what had happened. Like, hey, this is what happened. And so yeah, I mean, it was definitely a Rick and Morty episode. It was a little darker than usual, but it was still really well done. So
awesome. Thank you for that. And real quick before we get into the news of the week, I just want to say two things. Look at Kat's sign back there. Head on over to Head over to laser.gg/ the Geek Gauntlet Podcast. Every 5 minutes, every few minutes you watch a show, you get a card. You can also get a box of cards. Digital card from us. Charles probably got the best one. You get some orbs as well. Definitely go ahead and get started on your digital collection for the podcast to show your love and support. Laser.gg/ the Geek Gauntlet Podcast. Also, real quick, our newest sponsor, want to bring them up, Shadow Anime. If you head over to shadowanime.com, use promo code Geek Gauntlet 5, you get 5% off your total order. It's your one-stop shop for anime. They got some pretty nice stuff over there too, guys. So definitely check them out, shadowanime.com. Promo code Geek Gauntlet 5 to get 5% off your total purchase. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get into the news. I know Gene wanted to talk about this. Go ahead, Kat.
All right, let me just pull that up. Gene, you still with us there?
Gene, you still with us, bro? You might have lost the internet.
Yeah, I will go ahead and pick up the other news, and we'll wait for him to come back in.
Okay.
And this is news, has been big news. Disney has reappointed Bob Iger, their prior chief executive, to replace Cap Check. A lot has come out about that over the past few weeks, finding that funds were not necessarily being allocated appropriately, and just lots of really kind of bad knee-jerk decisions, which I think a lot of people just watching what was happening with Disney and Marvel, we saw that there was something going on.
Oh yeah.
In my opinion, probably one of the biggest statements, which I think is very true, which led to a lot of Cap Check's decisions, is he didn't understand the magic of Disney and Marvel and Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
So where most Star Wars fans, we were really used to that excitement that was allowed to build between movies.
Yeah.
And then, of course, that gave us time to like wow, like we just had these Star Wars movies and they were really great, and build our own fan fiction and read the books and get into the lore. When Cap Check took the helm, it was, we need to give you so much of this content that you're just constantly flooded with it. And I know, like, for me personally as a fan, that did kind of, in a lot of ways, it didn't make it as special. It just kind of made me numb to it. It's like, oh, look, it's another Star Wars show, or oh, look, it's another Star Wars
guy.
movie.
Yeah, he was.
Also.
He was a head of theme parks, or he was the CFO of theme parks. He was something high up in theme parks before Iger groomed
Appointed
him.
him. Yeah.
Appointed him. Yeah.
And yeah, so I mean, I think having Bob Iger back, there's a lot of really great stuff that's coming. That's kind of being corrected in that realm. So I think we'll kind of start to see the entertainment of Disney, Marvel, Star Wars, and all of that. You know, hopefully that's going to improve in a way that we all want to see it improve. So, anybody else thoughts on any of that news?
Is this the reason why like everything's been like coming out like every like few months is like, oh, a new episode or a new season of Marvel, like something?
Right. So essentially, one of the things that happens with streaming, and if people aren't really familiar with how streaming works, and I'm talking about this from like an audience standpoint. So people are going to subscribe to a service, whether it's Netflix, Hulu, Tubi, you name it, because there's a show on there they want to watch. Then at the end of the season, they cancel their subscription. Then when the next season comes out, they resubscribe. So when Disney saw this, when Capcheck and his folks saw this happening, where Disney Plus had all these subscribers up front, and then all of a sudden people were canceling their subscriptions at the end of The Mandalorian, because that was really their big first show that they brought on.
Right.
Yeah.
It sent them into a panic, because let's face it, a lot of people, there was a lot of Disney content that they were watching, like, you know, older films, things of that nature, because that's all their content. They don't even have to pay rights for it because they own it.
Right.
They were looking at it from, oh no, we went from like 10,000 subscribers down to 6,000 subscribers. And in that panic, it was like, well, what do we need to do? Oh, we need to constantly be churning out a new show all the time. And that's not how you're successful on streaming.
No.
For example, you know, I'm sure William's so sick of my example of this, but I'm going to use it again. Rings of Power is a prime example. It launched at the same time as House of Dragon.
Trash.
And so...
Oh, that's the show I put on when I need to sleep.
Well, you know...
Exactly.
The ending was good. I want the second season.
I mean, keep in mind, Lord of the Rings fans, we watched a 3-hour movie about walking. Everybody walked. The trees walked.
Yeah.
Okay, but there was an element of mystery. It wasn't, hey, it's that lady and not Sauron.
Well, you know.
Wait a minute, y'all.
You're trying to figure out who Sauron was, though.
Oh, wait, it's that lady and not Sauron and not Gandalf and, oh, well, there's really nothing to solve here.
Well, I mean, spoiler alert, guess what? It was that lady and Sauron.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
No, not Sauron, because that was the big twist.
Well, yeah.
Hold on, y'all. So you mean to tell me there's a season coming out?
They're contracted for 5
They
seasons.
have to. They have to put season 2 out. They spent $1 billion on the first season. They got to get the money back.
But here's the thing. Right now, that is the biggest watched show. And for one reason. People were watching House of Dragon. So they were paying their HBO Plus subscription. They then watched the rest of House of Dragon. Canceled their HBO Plus subscription. Went back to Prime because we all already have Prime because we want our free shipping.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then all those same fans, because you basically had this fan base and you had it split.
Yeah.
And so then people went and, you know, we'd much rather, I mean, we sit through 3 to 6 hour movies of this. So we'd much rather just binge the whole series in a weekend.
But honestly, it never cracked, though. It got beat by She-Hulk.
No, it did. It is actually the top streamed show because once all the other shows went away and we all knew that, you know, Ring of Power was going to be there.
Mm-hmm. Get me started on She-Hulk.
Everybody went back and started watching Rings of Power.
Don't get me started.
So at its premiere, it looked like it wasn't doing well.
Trash.
But then,
I mean, technically, I watched the show. I was sleeping.
I watched it. I watched it for the show.
Sean, did you do osmosis and just absorb the information?
Like, no, it's like it's kind of like this generation's Law and Order. I've never seen a complete episode of Law and Order, but when I needed to go to bed, I'd put on TNT, and Law and Order would be on, and I'd go to sleep.
Dun. But
you're trash.
But that's basically how it worked with Rings of Power. Is people when it first came out, they were like, "Oh my god, no one's watching." And Amazon was just like, oh, whatever, they'll start watching eventually.
And they
Amazon
did, I
didn't sweat
guess.
over it.
I mean, you
Because
got
then-
5 seasons.
5 seasons.
I mean, they
That's a-
marketed
that's
the
a-
hell out of
that's
it.
a-
I'd
that's a
order
five-time
like a
WCW
DVD, and
Anyway.
it would come in a huge bag, like that
Mhm.
big, with like Rings of Power
Right.
printed all over it, and I'd be like,
right.
I
And so
just
what
wanted a
happened-
replacement for my Black Cauldron DVD. What the hell is this?
I mean, House of Dragon, I get because I like House of Dragon. House of Dragon, I get because I actually liked House of Dragon. It gave you a lot of context. It gave you, even though it's dull moments, you still got at least a little bit of intrigue, and then you got a little bit of action. From what I saw from Rings, I just saw a bunch of talking, a bunch of walking. That's all I
Well,
saw.
Well,
But that's
because the
just
thing
it.
is,
You have to understand Tolkien fans.
Mm.
Yeah.
Tolkien
Yeah, but-
fans want the backstory.
But they
So-
turned the Tolkien fans away.
Yeah.
They
Actually,
turned
no,
them
it
away.
didn't. No, we just
I
don't
mean, they-
yell and scream like the semi Tolkien fans or the people that want cred and they
Hey,
want
I have
clout.
no dog in this fight. I'm not a Tolkien
Yeah.
fan.
So,
I don't
Yeah,
know.
My
much
point
about
is
the
that which
culture.
we might have had this is like you even said you weren't that big a fan of Lord of the Rings. Your opinion's invalid, but
Oh, God.
She'll listen to your opinion, but it's
I'll
invalid.
hear it, but it's invalid.
I hear it, but it's
Yeah.
Just wait. Just wait until we get into DC Comics.
With that being said,
you gotta give Kat credit. She sat through Naomi, so you gotta give Kat
yeah,
credit.
yeah.
Hey, I give Kat all the credit in the world. Kat helps me out with a lot of things I need to write, so I don't care.
So once House of Dragon and all these other shows that all premiered at the same time as Rings of Power
Finished.
were done, people went back and watched Rings of Power, and all of a sudden, it was blowing. It was getting like quadruple the numbers Amazon was originally anticipating.
Right, 'cause they want that same type of story.
Right. And you have to realize there is a little bit of overlap because you have people that are fantasy fans that are going to be fans of both House of Dragon and fans of Rings of Power.
Yeah.
But you also have a good majority of fans that watch House of the Dragon for excessive violence and titties.
Mm-hmm.
And incest.
Yeah. You've got the titties and beer crowd that watch House of Dragon for that very reason.
You have
Good
those fans that already
I never
had
heard
watched Game of Thrones.
Good old
titties
cousin
and
loving.
butts and ass and
I ain't
incest.
never heard
Yeah.
anybody say
Yeah.
it like that. I ain't never heard nobody say it like that before.
It's
And
true,
incest.
And the thing is, so,
Incest.
So they expect some carryover into the next whatever backstory.
Oh man, and I've said it on this show before. Having a daughter that's 13, I get it. That's back in those days. Damn, that's just nasty.
I just think someone who's watched both series is House of Dragons was I think they did a better job because George R.R. Martin was actually involved.
Yeah.
He contributed.
Tolkien's dead, bro.
Yeah, but they could have had Peter Jackson come in. They had scholars. They were kicking him off the set.
Actually, they did. They paid the Tolkien family a very large sum of money
Yeah.
for all of his unpublished notes.
Okay, Disney paid George Lucas a lot of money. That did not do them any good.
Right.
Facts.
But the thing with that, too, though, you have to
Facts.
realize is the biggest fear that Tolkien fans had with this show coming out was that it was going to be Game of Thrones.
Mhm.
So
Well, you can't do that. I agree
Right.
with you on that. You
And
cannot
Can't do that,
replicate.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're right,
people
you're
who are detracting
Right.
from the popularity of Rings of Power are the people who wanted it to be Game of Thrones.
I mean, I personally didn't see a parallel between the two.
Right.
It's two completely different. Like layman's see fantasy as one big thing. Like Zelda is the same as Lord of the Rings is the same as Game of
Not
Thrones is the
Not at
same
all.
as everything.
Mm-mm.
And the layman's don't realize that's not the case.
There's
Right.
subgenres. that
There are subgenres. It's kind of like talking to a comic book fan and be like, "Oh, you like Superman?" No, I read The Goon. But
Yeah.
Superman's a comic book. but I don't read Superman. I don't read that.
Superman wears his underwear on the outside.
Oh man.
I mean,
you like comics, so you must like Spider-Man.
you like
Spider-Man.
like comics. You're like that guy from that show. Can you tell me Bazinga?
Hey,
No, I don't like that show. I don't know. I don't want to do that.
But that was where you had an issue with that show. And so, for example, if Rings of Power had been on Disney Plus, Capcheck would have seen the initial, trolls that were like, oh, the show's so boring, which Tolkien fans are like, thank you for giving us some backstory. We need to know what's going on with these characters. We don't just need to see them in combat all the time. Basically, Disney would have had that happen with shows, and it was like, well, we need to produce more shows then. Or like the complaints with She-Hulk and the bad CGI.
She looked like an NPC.
Let's fix this and use good CGI.
She really did. She looked like a PlayStation 1 NPC. It's like they're walking past her in the first couple episodes. She's like...
No, what I really felt that they did there, and Will remembers when I had this conversation, is that what they did is they didn't get the movements right, because rather than hiring someone as like a body double to mimic that size that was a large woman, like someone who's like, and when I say large woman, I'm talking someone like China Doll, Brianna Tarth, because you can be a woman who's over 6 feet tall and still walk like a woman. They hired a man because She-Hulk in Hulk form was walking like a man.
Hey.
She was walking like an extra in Resident Evil 1.
And then we got the Meg Thee Stallion episode. And when she started twerking, I said, I'm out. I'm done.
I mean, can you imagine you come out of school? Like you come out of school, you're like, yeah, got my VFX certificate. I'm gonna go do big things. Hey, your first job is to make She-Hulk's ass bigger so she can twerk with Megan Thee Stallion. What?
They're paying me to college
get to me.
I paid $200,000 to just make She-Hulk twerk.
And I gotta do that.
Oh, and after this, you're fired. There's a recession coming.
Oh, damn, man.
So,
No,
Disney
would be like bring you into the office. So you did such great work on making her look bigger for the Megan and Stallion. Thank you for the code. Now you're fired.
Yeah, Disney is like Michael Scott.
Ah.
You wanted me to come in early and bring you breakfast sandwiches? Yeah, you can go home now.
Yeah.
What?
Hey, real quick, I did want to double back around real quick. We got Jen back.
Yeah.
Power Rangers legend. We didn't talk about this. Power Rangers legend Jason David Frank passed away. That hurt the hell out of me because I love the Green Ranger, love the White Ranger, love what he did with the red. Then he did everything.
Yeah.
Hopefully the movie will be out soon. I've seen some of the trailers.
White Dragon, I cannot wait for that.
Yeah, I can't wait for it to come out.
I've been following him with all the stuff he's done with Bat in the Sun, and it came out of nowhere. We had like weeks ago, we had Kevin Conroy go away, which was like, oh, everybody everybody in this universe, Batman. And then don't we get hit with like the guy that everybody of us woke up watching forever saying, okay, yeah, that's my hero. That's my dude. That's my guy. And then you hear Tommy goes and it's like, no, this can't be like real. Like what universe are we living in when both of those two go away?
I mean, yeah, I honestly will not try to hop on this bandwagon. I never watched Power Rangers. I didn't even know who this guy was. But I feel for everybody that watched this show because I remember I'm a huge metal fan. And obviously there's a lot of metal lead singers. And one of my favorite bands was Soundgarden. And I remember a couple of years ago when Chris Cornell, decided to end his own. And that I felt the same way everybody that is a fan of Power Rangers feels now. And it was like, wow, man, because I grew up, like Soundgarden got me through a lot of days. I listened to a lot of Soundgarden records, and this guy's just gone now.
Yeah.
And, and a lot of people say, you didn't even know the guy, but I did. The guy, he spoke to me every day through that CD, so it was a blow. It was a blow to me, and it's a blow to every Power Rangers fan that has actually watched this guy act. And went home on school day afternoons, got off after school, and watched him fight that lady that looked like Tia Carrera. What was her name? Yeah. So I mean, it's just a tough pill to swallow whenever someone that you idolize goes away, and especially in this fashion.
Because Tommy has become, from the Power Ranger perspective, he's the guy that was like the villain. He kicked the Power Rangers' butt for 5 episodes. Like the writing was good and somewhat solid, and then you're like, they bring him in, and then he's like the unspoken leader of the Power Rangers for the longest time. Then becomes the White Ranger, gets this ability, and stays with the Power Ranger franchise through many different reincarnations, always being looked at as a leader or a legend or somebody that you look up to. His story is greater than the sum of the whole parts. And so kids waking up for the longest time, for 5 episodes, we wanted to have nothing to do with Tommy until the end. It's like, Tommy was taken over by the spell, and now they want to put him on with the Power Rangers, and he's a good guy. We just grew up living with this dude. And then you go to a con, or you go to, a fair or whatever, and you talk to Jason, Dave, and Frank. He's the guy that's willing to do more for his fans. We'll talk to the fans. We'll, hey, you only paid for maybe 2 signings of things, but you got like 5 extra things. Hey, let me sign that for you. Because that's just, what he is. That's the type of person he is.
And yeah, that's the thing that hurts, is when you hear about how they were after. Like, I was a huge Chris Farley fan when I was a kid. And when you hear about how good a person he was after he died, or Norm Macdonald, who just said, I don't want anyone to know I was sick. I just want to keep performing, and I don't want any sympathy. I just want to keep working until I die. And then, all of this comes up, and you're just kind of like, wow, like this is, this hits hard, like I said, I'm not a fan of the show, but I really do feel the pain that a lot of the fans of the show feel, because a lot of the things I grew up with, you hit that every once in a while, and it's like, wow, that's rough, man. That's a tough pill to swallow every time. And
I think too, Jason David Frank, and I had the pleasure of being able to meet him 2 or 3 different times at several events.
Same.
That's awesome.
And he was always such a positive, encouraging, inspiring person. So like, people would come and talk to him, and like, he'd be like, go for your dream. Like, he would like walk people through, like, hey, this is what you want to do. Here, this is where you need to start. Like, follow that dream. Like, it was never in that fake, like, oh, that sounds really great, good for you. No, it was literally like, if I could hold your hand and walk you through it because I know how to do this, he would do it.
Yeah. And that's like 2 of the best comedians ever. Like Robin Williams and Chris Farley were the same way. Yeah. They'd say, hey, here's a number, call this guy. I'll get you set up at the Laugh Factory. Robin Williams launched the careers of a lot of stand-up comedians. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
a lot of people, and like, no one really knows what's going on behind that veil.
Yeah,
you go out, you're all smiles, you're supporting everyone else, and no one really knows what's going on behind the screen. The curtain draws, you go home, and it's just, like I said, it's a shame. It's a shame that a lot of people feel like that's the way it needs to end, and. I think it's a problem, and I think it's an easily solvable problem that no one wants to talk about, and it's just where we are right now here as a country, because a lot of people just bury it, don't want to talk about it.
As a society in a whole, you know, I mean, we do. I looked at it right now. It's like we do all these stuff for female, for LGBTQ, for all these people. You know, speak out, talk. But yet, when it comes to a guy trying to communicate, sometimes, yeah, we know they're all there, but we've been told for how many generations by our own dad, by our grandfathers. Oh well, if you're a man, you don't talk about. You just keep it in and go about you like.
But that's
Walk
not
it
a
off.
lot of
That's
the-
like so dumb.
That's not. Go ahead, Doc. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Because like and this is like not even Jason David Frank. It's more when I remember when Chester died from Linkin Park. It was like he was like this larger than life personality. He was always positive and everything. Like you will see him always happy. And then that one day that the news struck that he passed away during suicide, it was like, well, what happened? Like, because I remember watching him on Carpool Karaoke, and then a few days later, I watched another member of Linkin Park on the React channel reacting to all these other kids, and they were saying that, oh, Chester would be happy and this, and then the day after, he's like, he just passed away, and you're just like, when did that happen? How come no one brought that up or tried to like help him out or something? Like you just learn about that, and you're like, why is people like trying to bury their feelings instead of like bring it to the surface of talking to someone, like go to see a therapist or go to like
Because of the
Well, speaking
because
from
of the
experience, it's
stigma.
exactly that. You bury your feelings. You're kind of ashamed. Like I'm not ashamed to say it now, but I've been there before. Earlier in the year, I was in a home, and you don't. When something happens in a lot of families, and you don't want to express yourself, and you don't want to say, "Hey, I'm hurting. I'm doing this." You want to just push it all down and soldier on, and sometimes it just doesn't. It just doesn't work out for a lot of people doing that, and the end result is what we're talking about right now. What happened with me was my wife picked up on the signs. She said, "Are you all right?" I said, "No, I'm not." And my daughter's 2 years old. My wife took me to the hospital. I got committed for 10 days, and. I'm not ashamed to talk about it. I think it's something, if anyone ever wants to talk to me about it, it's fine. It's normal. It's not normal, but I think it should be normal for people to talk about it. So I'm happy to talk about it. And, I got out and, and the whole time I was in there, I was just like, I can't do this. I love my daughter. I love my wife. I love my daughter. There's a lot more. And sometimes you need to put things into perspective. And if you're that high up, if you're a Robin Williams or a Chester from Linkin Park and a lot of that, you're surrounded by a lot of people that don't have your best interests in mind. Their best interests are where their paycheck is coming from.
Right.
So they'll tell you everything's fine. They don't want you to go away. They want you to tour. They want you to keep doing your stand-up. They want you to keep doing this, keep doing that, and they want their money to flow in. So the more famous you are, I'm fortunate enough to have a wife that picked up on the signs and was able to shuffle me in, but a lot of people aren't, and I think that's the thing with someone like Jason David Frank, who wasn't ultra famous, but he's famous enough where people are hitching on to his star instead of looking out for his best interest, and that's a lot of and that's unfortunately when someone's famous. That's why a lot of famous people tend to end their lives the way they do in that respect. So,
Gene, you still with me, man? I'm gonna ask him a question real quick. Well, I'll wait till he gets back.
I think it's also up to our generation that also, you break the cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of military families. I'm around a lot of military, a lot of veterans.
well, yeah, you're in San Antonio, right? So a lot of Air Force, a lot of Army.
That, but familial as well.
Yeah.
I come from a military family. I'm married into a military family. In a lot of those circles, PTSD is still a bad word. It's still considered a 4-letter word.
Yeah.
When it is something that is very real. They may have called it something different in the past, but it's the same thing. It's, oh, you had this happen, so did the rest of us. Why? But everyone's impacted by the same experiences differently.
Right.
And I think it's really up to our generation to kind of like break that cycle and say, hey, John, you need help. It's okay. Let's get you that help. Or, hey, you need to talk. Let's talk.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think that's a lot of the problem.
that's sad,
because,
Lizard.
I think that's a lot of the problem because there's a lot of old school families. I think uniquely in this country, a lot of countries chose to go the psychological route or the religious route, and this country chose to go the religious route. So in this country for years, and I'm a very religious person, so I'm not saying this to disparage religion, but for years you were told you can solve your problems through God. Go to church, go to confession, do this, do that. And psychology is kind of taboo because some of psychology goes against the certain religions. So I think it's the majority of the country for a long time has chosen to side with religion over general mental health. And I think it's caused a large problem, and it's become vacuous with a lot of people and a lot of generations because, like I said, I'm religious. I go for spiritual growth, but my pastor doesn't know what the hell to do with my mental problems.
Right.
Mhm.
I'm having a lot of issues. Okay, have you tried reading Psalm 16?
Right.
But it's like that's not going to
Ain't
help
gonna
you.
help.
Yeah, so I mean, it's kind of people go in and that's just how it's been, and people think that religion is a catch-all and it's going to cure you, and that's how this country's been for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
Go to church, go to synagogue, go to mosque, go to whatever. That's going to cure you, and it's not the case.
Right. Well, we do appreciate you sharing, man.
I'm happy to, and like I said, it's easier to share and have someone hear about this experience. I'd rather someone hear about this experience and be like, hey, you know what? Maybe I should get checked out, or maybe I should go seek some therapy, and then rather than read about one of you in the paper. So
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Real quick, Kat, let's pick up at the Thunderbolts.
All right.
yes,
I'm saying here, so I gotta get back to my news here. So the Thunderbolts is rumored to feature the Marvel character of Sentry, who is almost a Superman-like character. They're also considering Ryan Gosling and Alexander Skarsgård for the role of Hyperion. I mean, I don't think you can ever go wrong with Alexander Skarsgård, but there's just a lot of talent in that family overall.
is he related to Stellan from Andor?
Honestly, I don't think I've watched that far into Andor for that character, but I know there's 3 brothers. So Bill Skarsgård, the one that did it, is his younger brother. Loki is another brother. Loki from Vikings.
Right.
So yeah, the character that you're speaking of, I'm not 100% familiar with him because I haven't finished watching all of Andor.
Well, he was Luthen in Andor, so he was the older guy that recruited Andor, and he's Stellan Skarsgård. So I was wondering if he was related.
I would have to look that one up because I'm not sure. It wouldn't surprise me because I mean, even looking at the 2 of them, like that may even be their father or an uncle.
Well, because isn't the dad like one of the scientists from Thor?
Yes.
Isn't he a Skarsgård?
That's the same guy.
Yeah.
That's the same guy. That's the guy that's from Andor.
That's
Yeah.
the pick right here. That's the pick right here we have up. And I don't. This better be Century with the Void. This better be a full power Century. If we get some half power Century, I'm gonna be mad. I'm gonna be mad as hell if it's not the fully power Century.
So what's the lineup for Thunderbolts gonna be?
They haven't fully announced it yet.
Haven't announced it yet.
Everything that we're seeing right now is still rumor. So I mean, there's still talks. Other than I think the only confirmed right now is Harrison Ford.
Yeah, Harrison Ford is the only one that's officially.
Why do they keep doing this to Harrison Ford? Harrison Ford does not look like he wants to be in any movies he's filmed in the last 10 years.
He needs
that
to
reminds
pay
me, I
for all
need
the
Indiana
damages he
Jones
caused
to
from
watch
wrecking
that.
his planes.
I know.
So he's the drunk uncle with a bunch of car payments. Pretty much.
He's more like the person that has a retirement plan that doesn't know what to do with it. So
There you go.
Like, what's it going to be? Indiana Jones and the Lost Remote?
The new
Yes.
Jones
Between the
trailers that I haven't
couches.
watched yet.
Between the couches. Boy.
No, I watched the trailer. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Damn.
All right, so
what
more
we got next,
Disney
Kat?
news. We do have Disney is announcing that they're going to be bringing Brandy back as Cinderella in the upcoming Descendants spinoff.
Darn, never mind.
I'm torn on that because when they first did it, when Brandy was like 20,
right?
I can see it.
It makes
Brandy
sense when
is
she
now
was
my
20.
age.
Well, Descendants basically is about the kids of the famous ones. So she'll probably be Cinderella, but it'll probably be more about her kids than
Okay,
her.
okay. I can be more
Because
behind
my
that. 'Cause
daughter
I'm
is
like,
obsessed
I get
with
more, but that
you
Descendants
ain't
makes sense.
Cinderella no more.
That makes
Yeah,
sense.
she'll be
aged
Cinderella,
out of
but
Cinderella.
she'll probably like a daughter or a son or something will show up in the movie, and that's
Gotcha,
probably what it's going to
I'm not familiar with the Descendants, but I do know that my wife loved that Cinderella movie, and I don't know why. Like, half of Whitney Houston was riding along the back of the carriage at the end. I was like, really? Maybe you got nostalgic for this?
Nah, you made me
Whitney
stop watching
Houston.
football for
Whitney
this.
Houston
Okay.
was riding on that wagon like a More You Know star.
But it's Whitney Houston.
Sang and
I mean, why, you got me from watching the game to watch this? Come on now.
The
when it
Yankees are
came
playing.
out, when
Come
it
on.
premiered
Yankees are
on
playing.
television,
Come on, man.
I thought it was so good and it was so fun, and it was a new twist on Cinderella. I liked it.
No, my wife loves
as I
it.
said,
So if Brandy's coming back as Cinderella, my wife is sold. My wife's sold on Hocus Pocus, though. I call Halloween that magical time where men get at least 6 hours of free time while their wives are watching Hocus Pocus on repeat.
No. I got plenty. No.
No,
I got
because my
plenty.
husband watches it too with me.
When I was married, I got plenty of free time when my ex-wife watched the Titanic. She watched Titanic like 80 times, and all that time I got free just to
I haven't
myself.
seen that in
Was
a
she
long
surprised at how it ended?
I don't know. I wasn't in there with her.
That iceberg
You know-
came out of nowhere.
The ending of that movie.
You know I was going in. You just didn't know anything leading up to it.
The boat's gonna
Honestly,
sink.
The ending of that movie always, even when I was like, I was like 12 when that movie came out, and it always struck me as weird. Like, 'cause I'm sitting there in the theater, and old Kate Winslet, I don't know the lady's name.
Yeah.
Like, the old lady dies, and then all of a sudden, like, she's like going through the water like Aquaman, and ends up on the Titanic, and the guy opens the door for her.
And
And
then
then
young again.
Everyone is standing there, and then Leonardo DiCaprio is there. It's like, were all these people that were not even remotely invested in this 2-day relationship just waiting to clap when two people they didn't even know kissed?
That's how they did.
They've been
got
dead
on it.
for a while, so they'll take any good news.
Like,
Yeah.
like,
Imagine being sent to the afterlife. It's like,
can you
and,
imagine being like John Jacob Astor? Be like, I had $1 billion. Now I'm watching this weird shit. I've been at the bottom of the ocean for 100 years.
They tell you as you're coming into the pearly gates. They're like, yeah, and have you done your clapping? You know,
Yeah.
oh, you haven't. Okay, you're going to go back down.
You go right over there to clap.
Sir, before I let you in, have you clapped when a couple has
clapped?
reunited on the Titanic?
No, see, here's the thing. When I look at it this way, it's the story of the ferryman, right? The catch is they all already died on a boat. So he was just holding the boat. He's like, we're missing some passengers here.
You know what?
They finally got to go.
I'm calling crap on that, though, because there was room on that door.
I
Kate
agree.
Winslet
That's
not
bullshit. He could have moved over. He could have like slid his ass over and be like, "Hey, make
There
some
was
room."
there were other things floating around. He's sitting there. He didn't even have any ingenuity. He could have looked around and been like, okay, I got that. I got that. I got that. No, he was like, okay, I'll die.
Well, you know why? That's because he wasn't smart. He was good looking.
He didn't. He didn't have Jason Momoa's abs, but he was good looking.
Yeah.
And then
I mean, if he had Jason Momoa's abs, he would have been smart enough to look around and be like, "Hey, I need to pull the rest of this together." Like,
We've seen what Jason Momoa can do. Even when he's blind, he still climbs up a gigantic rock wall.
if
Yeah.
Yep.
Come on.
if you could find it, there was a Saturday Night Live skit from God. At this point, it's like when Titanic came out, and it's like Disney's reimagining Titanic, and Whoopi Goldberg is voicing the iceberg, and it shows like whales and sharks and like fish like holding the ship up.
all right, so, long enough trip down memory lane. And pull up pick number 4.
Yes. Get here real quick. Bam.
All right. So once again, some more rumors is that in Deadpool 3, they're going to be bringing Danger back as the main villain of the Marvel of Deadpool 3. Are you guys familiar with that character?
No,
No.
My thing
Yeah, I don't feel
is,
bad.
and I'm mad because they wasted Taskmaster on Black Widow, and Taskmaster should be this villain.
don't even the right Taskmaster though, to be truthful.
Yeah, and it's
That wasn't
never
even the
going.
right one. They gender swapped it.
They gender swapped it and made it not Taskmaster. I don't
Yeah.
care that they gender swapped it, but it just wasn't Taskmaster.
It wasn't Taskmaster at all.
Like,
Taskmaster was like this cool, cunning villain that could kill you in several different ways with photographic reflexes.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was.
Trash.
Trash. Straight trash.
That's what we knew that was. Yeah.
Trash. Stay gone and stay far,
See,
far away.
I kind of think that Disney, I think that the DC universe not doing well for like 10 years hurt Marvel, because Marvel was sitting there like, we don't even have any competition, just write it and put it out and it's fine.
Oh, John, how
That
did you know
movie
I was
was
going to talk
terrible.
about DC next?
That Black Widow movie. That Black Widow movie. I love
It's
Scarlett
fine.
Johansson.
It's
I love
like,
Scarlett. Janae, I tell you, I love Scarlett Johansson, but that movie was terrible. It was trash, man.
but I mean, it's
Right.
like EA Sports with Madden. There's no other
EA
football games, and
Sports.
EA Sports is kind of like, okay, just generic
They really
football
just need to
game.
start
Here we
making- I
go.
feel like
Give us our 80
EA
bucks. Give
It
it
really
back.
would
really
Yeah.
should be DLCs for the next 20 years, because that's really all it is some
all
uniform
it
changes and a
is.
couple roster changes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but they make a lot more by charging 80 bucks every year for the next game.
Jesus.
See, I need to just like
$79.99.
explain that conspiracy to the kiddos. Be like, quit paying for it. Wait till it comes down out for $20 on Black Friday.
Oh, what's
I
the new?
still
what's
play
the new-
Madden. I still play Madden 13 on the Wii U.
Just buy a Game Pass
Mhm.
and wait for a little bit,
And wait
like
for
a
a
couple
bit.
weeks,
Yep.
and then it's free.
Yeah.
Yup.
Yeah. Yeah.
All
the thing
right.
that
So
kills-
speaking about
and then
DC news,
Yes.
real quick. Officially, DC has announced that they are going to start basically connecting their shows and their movies moving forward. So their live action shows, just similar to how we saw with Marvel, where you had S.H.I.E.L.D., Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and those shows that would start to tie those characters together. DCU says that they're going to start trying across the movies, shows, animation, and games. We'll
Nope.
see how that pans out. I mean, obviously, we're not going to get too much more Ezra Miller, but
Thank goodness.
Ezra, no.
Year plan.
yeah.
That's bad. That's bad. That's bad when
Trying to
Jenae say,
profit
thank
off
goodness. That's
1,000
bad.
different versions of Batman.
They say, nope.
we gotta make sure Batman's intact. So we gotta connect him to his video game, to his TV show, to his online. It's just that they're grasping and they're looking at what's going on with the Marvel MCU, and they're seeing that there's been some success. So they're thinking, oh, well, we can grasp off the same. Until the DC honestly gets better shows, or they're able to make their movie budget, their movies at least write better, be better written. Like Black Adam wasn't that bad, only due to the fact that just The Rock had his hand and all over it.
Yeah.
But when you're able to write better, both show and movie, and then that's how you're going to connect it that way, there you go. You may have a shot. Not trying to, we're going to fill in all our loose ends because we want our comics, our movie, our video game to all connect.
Well, they also need to stop rebooting everything.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because I'm sorry, I already know that Batman has dead parents.
Yeah.
Wait,
Why
what?
would we rehash that again?
Wait, what?
Cat, you
Wait,
spoiled
wait,
it for
what?
John.
My bad, John. I'm sorry, Batman's
His
parents are dead.
What?
I just thought her necklace got ripped.
The string of pearls.
They're dead.
You didn't know that Martha
Come
and
on,
Martha
man.
are both dead?
And
No,
both
no,
the
no,
mamas,
I
and both their
watched
mother's
Batman,
name is
not the one
Martha.
on Pornhub.
And both their mother's names are Martha.
Oh my God! Both Superman and Batman's names are Martha. Their mothers.
Yeah.
That Rule 34 is very disturbing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like if anybody follows the Acme villain thing on Facebook, remember, don't get them to talk.
Uh-oh.
What happened?
Hey,
Go ahead,
like
say that
Russian
again,
roulette?
Gene.
I was
Say that
like,
again, Gene. Don't get them to
it's a
talk
shuffle.
what?
Don't get them to talk about Martha and Martha, because Batman and Superman talk about Martha and they connect. You're screwed.
Well, that's like
Uh-huh.
it's like Batman versus Superman. The last 20 minutes of Superman's dialogue was Bruce, we need to talk. Bruce, why'd you say her name? Bruce. Bruce.
All right.
But what was that? But I getting back into the thing. I think DC's bones right now are stronger than Marvel's. I don't like connecting everything. I don't like it. I like the loose connection. I like being able to watch an episode of Doom Patrol without having to worry about what's going on in the Aquaman movie. I don't like having to connect everything, and that's where Marvel ultimately has met its decline, because Marvel is reeling right now because people are fatigued. It's tiring.
Well, it also gets back to the forgetting about the magic.
Yes.
Because think about it. For so many years, it was 1 to 2 superhero movies a year. That was it. And then all of a sudden, Kapchek took the wheel. He laid on the gas and was cranking out 4 to 6 movies a year.
You can't completely blame it on Chapek. Chapek did not give us Brie Larson.
Yeah.
Well, you're right.
Chapek did not tell us we had to watch Captain Marvel.
I actually still haven't watched Captain Marvel.
Neither have I.
Missing nothing.
much.
Y'all ain't missing nothing.
But
It
the
was
thing
terrible.
is, though,
Best
Here,
thing
let me
was
give you
Samuel L.
Captain
Jackson
Marvel
and the
in.
cat.
I'll give you Captain Marvel in 10 seconds. I have to save the universe.
Yeah.
That's it.
I don't know how a superhero will have to have a butt double.
no, you just buy the butt pads.
Yeah,
We've had this conversation.
talked-
Throw it into the costume.
Just go to Walmart, get the butt pads.
Go to the booty store and buy your booty. I think everyone's frozen with me and Jenae.
I mean, I just like
John.
I just liked when Brie Larson was at as well. Frozen.
Yeah, I think I
Yeah.
broke him with booty pads.
He's
And
frozen
go to the
too.
booty store. Like,
Wow.
Gene
Am I the only one?
no, you, me, and Jenae, I think are it right
Yeah.
now.
Oh
Let's
wow.
see what happens.
This has a million variables.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of it is I just think there's two of him.
There's two
of him.
Ooh, there's 2 hills.
Doppelgangers.
And now I'm Alice from the Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
But I just don't see how Brie Larson. She had to have a butt double, guys. Come on, man.
No, she didn't. All she had to do was go to the booty store and buy a booty.
Or
But
you
everyone
just
would
gotta
figure
go
out.
right
But
Every-
they actually show.
Everyone would figure out that was manufactured
actually
when she
showed
had
the
to sit for more
ad.
than 15 minutes.
But
But they
here's the
actually
thing.
show.
No, because nobody realized that in Tomb Raider that Angelina Jolie's boobs and her butt were both sewn into that costume.
You did
Those
say
were
that.
not hers.
You did tell me that. I remember that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
remember that.
In order to
Yeah.
make her shapely like the
Yeah.
cartoon, like
Yeah.
the video game,
Yeah.
and to make them move the right way, they had to sew them into the suit.
Mm-hmm.
And yet another thing
That's
for my
why it didn't
childhood.
look right in the shower scene.
Yeah.
My childhood is just slowly getting
Which I heard is
disintegrated.
ruined now, buddy. All right.
Yeah,
You keep on ruining John's childhood.
My childhood is just done.
It's gone.
That's why he has
All
it
right.
on more often, because he's like, Cat's gonna just destroy my childhood. Me and Michael Bay. That's what we do.
All right, Kat, what else we got?
All right. If you can pull up pick number 10.
Yep.
And because Christopher Eccleston is going to return in Doctor Who with David Tennant for the 60th anniversary. They're also anticipating having Tom Baker, Peter Davidson, Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy, and Paul McGann. And that should be premiering in May of 2023 for the big finish.
And I think also too, if I'm not mistaken, I know there's Matt Smith was also had done some stuff because he showed up to help with Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah.
In that, so it's like all the Doctors.
Wow.
All right, let's go ahead and hop over to some Transformers news. The first Transformers Rise of the Beast trailer has officially been released.
It doesn't look that bad.
Yeah,
It don't look bad at all.
It looks okay.
Yeah, I'm not like, oh my, it's another Transformers movie. Must go watch it. No, this one actually. There's some genuine. It was pretty looking good.
And Megan Fox isn't in it, so it's okay.
It's a bonus.
Oh, I go hate on Megan Fox. She messed herself up though, for real. When she made those comments, she messed herself up.
Yeah, I mean,
Was that what she called Michael Bay a Nazi?
Yep.
Yeah.
You messed yourself
Yeah,
up.
she did that to herself.
Yeah, you did that to yourself.
All
Not that
right.
she was the greatest actress in the world either, to Jenae's point, but
Well, she also would have left
could
her
have gone
face
on for
alone,
another.
too. She would have still been pretty.
Pretty doesn't go well with gigantic Japanese robots. We just want to see gigantic
we
Japanese
want to see
robots.
gigantic
attack other
robots.
gigantic
That's all we want to see.
Japanese robots.
Exactly.
And we don't want Optimus Prime to die because then that makes us all cry. And that's
Oh,
not
you
Yeah.
remember when he died in the first movie? Oh man.
Are you talking about the cartoon?
It's okay. They brought him. They brought him back.
Yes.
It's okay. It's okay. We don't talk about the movie.
Every kid cried, man. I know. I
Only
was
good thing about
crying
the movie was
too.
Blur.
They had to rewrite the G.I. Joe movie after the reaction that kids
Man, I know, I
had
was
to
crying.
the death of Optimus Prime.
I
Because
was crying.
Luke was supposed to die in the original script for the G.I. Joe movie.
Mm-hmm.
But when they saw how kids reacted to Optimus Prime, they're like, nope, we're not doing it.
Mm-hmm. And Hot
You
Rod.
can't force us.
They brought him Prime. And another reason why I think they brought him back because Rodimus Prime sucked.
Yeah, he was not. Yeah.
He was not very good.
All right, we got a couple more things, and then we will be out for the night. If you want to bring up pictures 11 through 14, these are the Yu-Gi-Oh! Band cards as of December 1st of 2022.
Bro, I'm kind of shocked that. Well, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. That makes sense.
Are they too powerful? Are
That
they,
makes sense.
like
Yeah.
scandalous.
I never played Yu-Gi-Oh! I couldn't
That
tell you.
makes
Like
sense.
pot of greed type of scandalous. Like you
That-
can't use that in tournaments.
Yeah,
Right.
you can't. Yeah, these are banned from tournament play.
Well, I guess I'm not joining tournaments.
It's too powerful. I mean, if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, your opponent cannot activate monster effects or declare an attack. If you control more monsters than your opponent, you cannot activate monster effects or declare an attack once per turn during the end phase. If both players control the same number of monsters, destroy this card. It's too freaking powerful.
It's too powerful, but also too confusing because
Because
then
if
it
they
just gets
have
to a
more than you, yeah, man, I can see why they did it. I can see why they did it. All right, the next one here. That thing should have been banned. That should have been banned 2 freaking years ago. It's a fairy and it's got a good effect. It should have been done. And again, this is TCG, folks. Not OCG. Yeah. This is TCG, so keep that in mind. I can see where they banned that too. Very powerful XYZ monster.
Yeah.
And last but not least, I hate Tellarknights. I hate them. Ban that. Ban it. Burn it with fire. I hate Tellarknights. I hate them. They're so freaking good, but I hate them. They can just swarm the field with monster effects and just take out whatever you have on whatever is on your board. I hate Telenites. Hate him at Duel Links, hate him at Master Duel, hate him.
Yeah, and it makes it easier if you got them cards and you know how to play them correct. And even if you shuffle if you got that supposed heart of the cards, just yeah.
We all know what that is. That's just
Exodia.
On the first try? How do you do that?
That's just Don't forget in the anime, he did it for Joy too.
Yeah. That was some bullshit.
That was some bullshit. He was going up against Maya had his ass.
Kaiba used to pull out, what is it, like 9,000 different, blue eyes, white dragons at the beginning of every hand. It's like, I summon blue eyes, white dragon.
Hold on, no, you supposed to sacrifice 2 monsters. What the fuck's happening, sir?
Doesn't he combined all the blue eyes into this mega blue eyes white dragon or something like
blue
that?
Eyes nonsense. Blue eyes ultimate white dragon. Blue eyes ultimate white dragon.
There's more dragons than just blue eyes.
Oh, that's a ton of dragons in Yu-Gi-Oh! Ton of dragons, man.
But Seto Kaiba was only set on blue eyes.
That was his monster. That's his monster.
I just think it's funny that he's a high school student, but he has this deep voice. Mokuba, step aside.
Mokuba, let's
go. There's one thing that he would say, Mokuba, I tell you, at first you don't succeed, throw a blue eye and try to get
Yes, Diamond.
Hey, y'all need to take a page from Cat's book. Y'all need to go watch Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge. That is funny as crap, man.
You gotta watch Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge and then Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Abridged. That is
yeah. It'll have you rolling the whole time through, man. Oh man.
If you're Seto Kaiba, and you're passing your cards along to Yugi himself, it's like, Yugi, there's only one card that you need to know.
Oh my gosh. And then they brought the God cards in. Oh, I was just done after that. Obelisk to a mentor. Bruh. Really?
All right, y'all. So we've got a little bit long time. We got one more topic, and then we'll go ahead and start heading on out of here. Why don't we do it? Pull up pick 24.
Yep. There we go.
All right. Marvel or Star Wars? If you pick Marvel, you wake up in the Marvel universe as a villain. Star Wars, you wake up in the Star Wars universe as a Jedi.
I got a question. Which villain?
I think you get to pick, or you're just
okay. I can pick. Okay.
Well, the question here will the question.
Do Sith count as Jedi?
No.
Nope.
No.
Okay,
I picked Marvel.
Can we switch that? Can there be a villain of Star Wars?
Hey, Darth Revan, boy.
I mean, the villains in Star Wars were a lot cooler. I mean, I got to go with Marvel.
I myself would love to wake up as a Jedi within the Star Wars universe.
Why?
So
they could tell you're not on the council, and then you turn into Darth Vader.
No, actually, no. I think in a whole process of things, even playing the Knights of the Old Republic, I enjoyed always playing as a Jedi, and just
at least you do get the Force.
Yeah, that's right.
You get the Force.
Yeah, but the Sith give you lightning force.
That's
true.
But they got dual
lightsabers. You can be dark side.
How much easier I'd be able to handle my family if I had lightning force to go to bed. No.
Remember Yoda using the Force to control the lightning as Lord Sidious threw it at him and he threw it back at him.
Yeah, but that was true. Yoda. You're not going to wake up as Yoda. You're going to wake up as Mace Windu with no hand, only out of a window.
Did not state that you don't have master abilities, that you can't master them you go.
I mean,
No, we know that I'm going to go the villain route. We just know this.
We know
I mean, if you guys didn't even ask me which route I would go.
Cat gonna go to villain route.
I figured unless you could be a Sith Lord, you'd probably go for villain.
Cat just wants to wake up and go, the world is mine.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Like, alternate universe me, I can guarantee you, alternate universe me that, lives by no rules is like a mob boss somewhere in, Osaka.
No, you're
up against the triad.
You're selling yourself short. You're Galactus. You're just like,
Like,
oh,
I've come
World
to
leader.
visit your planet.
this is a nice apple. It's Earth. Okay.
Just call me Lady Death.
True.
Man, can I be Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet?
No, I could honestly see Kat being the Thanos that look at Thor and go, "You didn't go for the head," and
Yeah.
Hey. Yep. What would you be, Diamond? Which one would
Probably
you
be a
choose?
Jedi because I want lightsabers. I can
Yeah.
always just and then I can just run around and just hit people with lightsabers. Doesn't have to
What'd
be
you
a
say
good
to me?
Jedi.
Damn.
Like you don't give me stuff.
I can see running into somebody and by mistake whacking them in the head, like leaving a big old patch. It's like, oh,
No,
sorry, I
I'll
didn't
be
mean
like
to
the
hit you
person
with
that
my
starts
lightsaber."
problems. They're like, you bumped into me. Huzzah! Knocking my way.
I mean,
Oh,
Plus we-
man.
plus if you're
I
in the-
just
in the Star
don't think
Wars
I'd have a
universe-
long run as a Jedi, so I'd have to go with Marvel villain. Because if I was a Jedi, they'd be like, no, man, you have too much individual thought. And I'd be like, no, I don't. They'd be like,
the thing
You're
I'm
like,
looking at is
you
in the Star
just
Wars
disagreed with us, John. I'd be like, yeah, I guess I
in the Star Wars universe, the only real villains we have to worry about is other people turning into Sith, because we don't have to worry about the stormtroopers. They can't hit the broadside of anything.
That's true. That's true.
Also,
That's
if
so
you start as a
true.
Jedi, you can slowly graduate into a Sith. So it could be you be a good person, and then you just slowly graduate into becoming.
But you don't even have to be a
evil.
Jedi to do that.
Yeah.
I can
I
just
can start out
I mean,
Sith and call it a
good
day.
ideas.
Count. I mean, honestly, Count
Count
Dooku could have been just a normal dude and saw Yaddle in a wheel and just been like, okay, gonna hit this button. And just crushed her.
Or I can be
Yeah.
have all the younglings say, Master Diamond, what are you doing? I'm just I guess this is time. Kill all y'all. Fuck kill all y'all. No Jedis. I'm the only one.
It's like that meme.
It's every Jedi for themselves.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like
like
Diamond's World.
Boy.
It's like that
Man.
meme where Padme's asking Anakin and Obi-Wan,
Right.
what's the difference between what do children and tattoos have in common? And Obi-Wan says both are permanent, and Anakin says both can be removed with lasers.
Dang,
I always wanted
man.
to throw a lightsaber like a boomerang type stuff.
Dang. Man, I want those Darth Maul dual lightsabers. That's what I want.
Just imagine being the youngling that decided to call in sick that day for training.
Now,
I'm not coming in today.
Like,
Mr.
yes, you are. You're coming in today.
Yeah.
Am I?
Her name was Ahsoka.
Let me go find your parents.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not going to join the fight. I'm
All
going to hide under my bed.
right.
Forget that noise.
Oh man. All right, you guys. It's been
Jason Voorhees walks in like, oh man, you're killing kids. This is too much for me. I'm out. And
Too much for you? For you?
All right, guys.
I'm going to go back to my universe of being on a spaceship and killing everybody. Just
All right, guys. Let's go ahead and finish this thing. Let's go around the room. Let's see what everybody's doing this week. Kat, what you got going on with Geek News Now?
Well, as always, check us out at geeknewsnow.net. Check out all the great geek news. We've got a bunch of great stuff coming out for the holidays, talking about Christmas movies, geek Christmas movies, something to give you a little bit of nostalgia. Of course, don't forget to check us out over on Instagram and TikTok as well, also under Geek News Now.
Okay, what y'all say? Die Harder is a Christmas movie. I don't care what y'all say.
Oh, no, there's a new replacement.
Gremlins?
No.
Santa's
Violent
Sleigh
Night.
with Bill Goldberg?
Violent.
What
Night.
is it?
Yeah, Violent Night.
Violent Night.
I
They
haven't
Home
seen that
Alone's
yet.
that
Okay.
Is Violent Night better than Santa's Sleigh with the WWE superstar
Yes.
Bill
Yes.
Goldberg?
Yes.
Yes, but I'm not sure if it's going to beat out Cocaine Bear.
Cocaine Bear doesn't come out until February.
I know. It looks amazing.
Just
though.
for Valentine's Day.
Yeah. But still, to me, Die Hard will always be a Christmas movie. That's just me.
Mm-hmm.
John, what you got going on with Geek News Now, my friend?
Working on a couple of articles. Walt Disney's birthday is coming up, so I'm going to do a retrospective on him, December 5th. I still have to crank out this whatever's going on at Disney. I'm ironing out my scorecard and I have part 2 of my Disney saga with Bob Iger and the guy that looks like Alex Jones that just got fired. Whatever his name is, and he doesn't matter. But I'm working on that, and there's a couple other things I'm working on. I'm working on a top 5 Christmas movies, not including Die Hard, because that's everyone's number 1. Yeah, that's about it.
Diamond, what you got going on this week?
I'm probably going to be playing God of War Ragnarok and continue playing Yakuza Like a Dragon.
I haven't been able to buy God of War because I'm short on funds. Is it good?
It's pretty good. I got it for
Alright.
free because my friend accidentally bought himself 2 copies.
Lucky
Cool.
you.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I love the games, and I can't wait to actually be able to play it when I can buy it. But yeah.
Mr. Pinfall, what you got going on this week, buddy?
With me, there's everything and anything. Keeping my eyes to the page as always, and also lovely being here with the Geek News Now people and Geek Gauntlet as always. Also check me out on all my lovely promo areas, from the Foundation, VOH Asylum, to the Revolution.
You did and you also have a TikTok, right?
I do. I haven't used it in a while, but do have TikTok.
Okay. Thought you did. And Jenae, what you got going on this week?
Just reposting my 1-a-day drawing challenge that I've been doing on Instagram. I just repost them on my stories at JELIXNB. So
When are you doing a live stream?
I don't know. The last one crashed on me.
Yeah, I hate Instagram for that.
So I might do like a Facebook, but that's usually with just not live through the whole world to see. Kind of, it's just friends. So I might do that.
Yeah,
I'm trying to get back into gear, and because I have projects that I need to get done that I have commission for. So
I don't know anything about having projects to get done.
It's just getting the motivation
to do it.
You just get up and do it, man. I'm up here playing Pokemon Violet, Scarlet and Violet. I started on Violet. I got my first 3 gym badges. I got 2 10 stars and I got 1 Titan. The main thought was trying to catch up to Jenae, but now from what I understand, I don't pass Jenae.
Past me. My daughters way past me. I've only played for like 2 days.
Yeah. But like I said,
Will's on the path of he wants to be the very best, like no one ever was.
This is true. Very true. And I'll do it legit, unlike Ash. But anyway. Kat, thank you for being our moderator tonight. We do appreciate you as well. And if there is nothing else, I will see all you. Hopefully, I'll see all you guys next week right here on the Geek Gauntlet Podcast. Same bad time, same bad channel. Everyone have a good week. Have a safe week. And take care, guys. See you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Later.
Peace.